I love water polo. I'm not very good. Can you teach me? Awesome.
ලංකා ප්‍රීමියර් ලීග් ක්‍රිකට් තරඟාවලියේ තානාපතිවරයෙකු ලෙස ශ්‍රී ලංකාවට පැමිණ සිටින ඕස්ට්‍රේලියානු හිටපු නායක මයිකල් ක්ලාක් කොළඹ රාජකීය විද්‍යාලයට පැමිණියා. ඔහු එලෙස රාජකීය විද්‍යාලයට පැමිණ හමු වූයේ ක්‍රිකට් ක්‍රීඩකයින් නොව වෝටර් පෝලෝ ක්‍රීඩකයින් වීම විශේෂත්වයක්. රාජකීය විද්‍යාලයේ ආදිශීෂ සංගමය සංවිධානය කළ මෙම අවස්ථාවට පාසල් කිහිපයක වෝටර් පෝලෝ කණ්ඩායම්ද පැමිණ සිටියා. ඔහුගේ ක්‍රිකට් නායකත්වය පීඩනයක් යටතේ ක්‍රීඩා කිරීම එය දරා ගැනීම පිළිබඳව සිසුන් ඇසූ ප්‍රශ්නවලටද මයිකල් ක්ලාක් පිළිතුරු ලබා දුන්නා. එමෙන්ම වෝටර් පෝලෝ ක්‍රීඩක ක්‍රීඩිකාවන්ට මෙම අවස්ථාව ඉතා සුන්දර අවස්ථාවක් බවට පත් වුණා. කොළඹ රාජකීය විද්‍යාලයේ විදුහල්පති තිලක් වත්තුහේවා මහතා ලංකා ප්‍රීමියර් ලීග් තරගාවලියේ අධ්‍යක්ෂ සමන්ත දොඩංගමල යන මහත්වරුන් මෙම අවස්ථාවට එක්ව සිටියා.
I didn't know so much more about the off-field stuff.
When I look at that video, it feels such a long time ago that I was growing up. I was in the same position as you guys, and I had a dream. I love hearing the story about what you guys are trying to do with water polo at this school. It takes a lot of work, no matter what sport you play, no matter what country you come from. A lot of work to make it to the top. But when you've achieved it, when you be there, you look back and you realise it's actually so close. So for you guys, you might sit there today and think, geez, how long is it going to take for me to reach the highest level? Like I say, I never thought I would make it, and thankfully I did. So you're a lot closer than you think. Hard work, dedication, sacrifices, and you never know. You won't be far away. But yeah, thank you very much for not only having me, but having my partner here as well today. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Michael, for joining us. I'll just give a brief of how we plan to run this. So just a quick Q&A with me and Michael. Any questions that you have, there'll be a mic going around, or you can write it on a piece of paper. If you want to ask the question in Sinhalese, please do. Sinhalin prashna ahanna ඕන නම් Sinhalin අහන්න. I will translate it. නැත්නම් කොලේක ලියන්න ඕන නම් Sinhalin ලියන්න. ඒ ප්‍රශ්නෙත් මෙතනට දාන්න. බය නැතුව ප්‍රශ්න අහන්න. Michael මෙහෙට ගෙනලා තියෙන්නේ. එයාගේ අත්දැකීම් අපිත් එක්ක share කරගන්න. ඉතින් මේ ප්‍රශ්න ටික බය නැතුව අහන්න. Okay, I'd like to start that off with the first line of that. The game owes me nothing. I owe the game everything. Where did that come from, and when did that start? Like your relationship with the sport, was it from?
Very young, yeah. I started in Australia. We had, for me growing up as a kid, I had two sports. And I chose those two sports mainly because they were the two sports my father played. So in the summer it was cricket, in the winter it was rugby league. I know you guys are big on rugby here in Sri Lanka as well. We played rugby league in Australia. I certainly did as a kid. But I started cricket as a 6-year-old boy. And I loved all sports. At school I would do swimming, we'd do athletics, kick a soccer ball, you play rugby league. I loved all sports and I still do, but I think because my dad was playing cricket and rugby league, that I just wanted to copy him. I just wanted to be like my dad.
And playing sports in school in Australia, you growing up, what was the motivation? And we all start playing any sport because we love it.
Yeah.
But then at some point, does it become for like your colours or captaincy, or does it become something that you want to just have with you on a piece of paper?
I think I think I played sport at the start from a very young age because my friends were playing and because my dad played, so I wanted to try it. Then I enjoyed the actual sport. I fell in love with the sport. And I don't think that changes. I think when I retired from playing for Australia at 34 years of age, I think that was the main reason why I retired. Because I didn't love it as much as I did when I was 33, 32, 31, 15, 12. I think that is why you play. And if you lose that love and passion, it's very hard to get out of bed every day and try and become better. And be willing to, not go to a party and go to the gym. Or not go to a family birthday and go to the net. So I think when you have to compromise, I think you lose that love and passion. Then for me, that was the time to stop. But yeah, really, it was about playing with my friends. In Australia, our culture is to be outside, get outdoors. We have beautiful weather. We're very lucky. We've got plenty of sporting fields as well. And I had a sister. Well, I have a sister who's 2 years older than me. She was very sporty. So I always had someone to play against at the park, in the backyard. If my friends couldn't come, then I would always drag my sister, and she was a big influence on me falling in love with cricket.
You speak about the culture, sporting culture that you have in Australia. We have that at some schools at school level here in Sri Lanka, but you consistently keep producing good athletes in all sports, cricket included. How does that happen? Is it from the families, from the schools, from the state?
Well, it's funny because I don't think you're born with a talent. I think we all have some. It's like leadership. We all have something inside us. Now, if you can produce that and grow that and improve that, that comes to the forefront. But I can't sit here and say I love cricket more than you loved cricket. You know, I don't think that's fair to make that judgment as well. I just think we're lucky in Australia that we have wonderful facilities. We're lucky that we have beautiful weather so you can get outside and play. I was very lucky that I had a mum and a dad that supported me, that would, you know, buy the cricket bat or take me to training or allow me to, you know, miss a day of school to go and play cricket, or to find that balance, send me to a school that loves sport like your school does. A lot of schools in Australia, sport is not their priority, education is. I have an 8-year-old daughter now, and that's one of the things, you know, I think about every day. What's the most important thing for her? Is it the academic side? Is it the sport side? Dream come true is go to a school like this and you can have both. So I think, again, I say I'm lucky from where I come from in Australia. From what I'm hearing about this school, you guys are just as lucky because you can have the cake and eat it.
Yeah, so, I mean, from what Michael says, we've got almost the same things that they've got going on there with the weather, the support from the families, the school, the facilities. It's up to us to just really drive that sporting culture in school and once you go out there. And the pathway, like from under 19, you go into state cricket. You actually went into state cricket while you were under 19. You were pulled up from the under 19 World Cup to play state cricket. What was your experience of going into international cricket as a schoolboy? Do you feel you were ready for the challenge?
No, not at all. I think the other thing in life, a lot of the time you don't know if you're ready until you get the opportunity. So, like anyone, you know, when I travelled away I left home when I was 16 to go to England to play cricket. My first trip, I was over there for 6 months as a 16-year-old boy. That was very scary, very hard. I'm very close to my family and my sister, and it felt like I was leaving home. So yeah, I think there's a lot of things when you are taken out of your comfort zone, it can be scary for the first time. But unfortunately, I think that's part of life. I think it doesn't change as you get older. You're taken out of your comfort zone regularly. You have to do things that you probably don't feel like doing or want to do. And that's certainly a big part of success as well. There's a lot of days, I think, even as a young kid, I wanted to be with my friends or my family, but I had to go to training, or I had to go to the game, or I had to make that sacrifice. So I think that's all part of, if you're lucky enough to play the sport you want to play at the highest level, then you reflect, you look back and say all the hard work, all the sacrifices, it was worth it. But yeah, a lot of times out of your comfort zone, doing things that, you know, you were a little bit scared at times. I feared failure at times. That uncomfortable place sometimes brought the best out of me as well.
And your plans of overcoming those, of preparing yourself for international cricket, did that come from you itself? Was it your plans and you were driving it, or was it a coach or someone, a mentor?
No, definitely my plans. I had a supportive family, but I was never pushed. I was never made to play cricket. I was given the opportunity, and it was the same. If I chose rugby union or water polo or another sport, I'm sure my family would have supported me with that. But no doubt you need help along the way. You don't make it to the top on your own. I think, the simple things that you take for granted, somebody to drive you to training, someone to help pay to allow you to play the sport, somebody to be there when you fail, you don't do well, and pick you up and pat you on the back and give you another go. You know, in Australia, a lot of our junior sport is run by parents, so they look after the canteen so you can get food. A father or a mother will coach the team, so you have a coach. It is very much family investment that allows the sport to be successful in Australia. So without the other kids and their parents and their grandparents, I might never have played because cricket mightn't have been around. So, yeah, there's a lot of thank yous that also go into, you know, when it's me standing there holding a trophy, it's for a lot more than just me.
You've been a great ambassador for the sport and for the country. When you travel overseas to Sri Lanka, South Africa, how, like, you present yourself well? You being an ambassador for the sport, do you need to get to stage you are to be there? When you say the game doesn't owe me anything, even as a schoolboy,
I think it starts from a young age. Again, for me as well, I didn't have many other options. I think cricket was what I was best at, so I stuck to that. But then there wasn't many other options. I don't know what I would have done without cricket. Would I have played another sport? What would have I done business-wise? I'm not sure. So I think the game of cricket enhanced me as a person, grew me as a person. I was thrown into it from such a young age. The sport educated me. The sport helped me with the academic side of life. You know, when I was captain, I'm trying to count how many overs are left, how many bowlers are left. I'm like, I should have learned this during math at school. Why am I learning it at cricket? So I think cricket was a really good learning curve for my life. And I've always felt lucky to play the game. You know, in our sport, only 11 people take the field. So in Australia, what have we got? 27 million people in Australia. Only 11 represent Australia at one time. I was very lucky to be one of those 11.
You were also very good. And your captaincy in leadership, you took on the Australian team at a relatively young age and took it through some difficult times. What was that like, leading a group of sportsmen, highly competitive athletes?
It was fun, to be honest. Like I say, I think we all have leadership qualities, and I don't think there's one specific way to be a captain or be a leader. I think you work out how you do it best, and I think you need the support of your team as well. I'm very structured and organised, and I know what works for me as a player. I knew what I had to do in preparation to have success and give myself a chance of being successful. I knew what I had to do post-playing in recovery to be able to get myself fit and healthy for the next game. So I worked all of that out individually. So that was one of my strengths as a captain, that I was very focused on every little thing to have success, but not everybody works like me. Not everybody wanted to train as hard as me. Not everybody wanted to spend as much time on rehab or recovery as me. So that doesn't mean they're any less a player. They might have been better players than me. My job as captain was to get the best out of each individual. And that can be tough, because in the team that I took over, I had David Warner, Steve Smith, Pat Cummins, who were 18, 19 years of age. So I had to get the best out of them. And then I had Ricky Ponting, Michael Hussey, Brad Haddon, who were 37, married with 2 or 3 kids. I had to get the best out of them. So trying to find a balance when you talk to them individually, how you bring them together as a group, was one of the challenges I faced as a leader. But, you know, when I look back at that time through my captaincy, I think there's a lot of things I could have done better, but I was very fortunate to have good leadership around me that helped. And thankfully, as a team, we come together and we got back to being number 1 in the world, which was really important. That was our number 1 goal.
And you had a tough tour of India in 2013 or 2011, and you went on to win the Ashes 5-0. That same year?
I can't remember, but that sounds good to me. As long as there's a win after the loss, I'm happy.
Alec, when you have tough situations as an individual or as a team, let's go like as an individual. What are like you've had tough tours in South Africa? One of your best things has been in South Africa, and you've been you're backed against the wall. That really brings out the best in you. How did that work for you?
Yeah, I don't actually know the answer to that. I don't know why. I feel like you train and prepare, so that gives your mind the freedom to succeed under pressure. I never feared losing. I feared failure, individual failure. There's no doubt I used to get nervous before I'd walk out and bat. I'd listen to a lot of music that would calm me down, and that would help me mentally go out and play. But I was like everybody else. I didn't like failing. I trained too hard to to want to fail. But I don't think I ever feared losing. So that was one of my strengths as a captain, that I was willing to risk losing to try and win. And I guess when when you're not playing as well as you would like, or when you're under pressure, that's when I probably stuck to that attitude, that mindset. I was driven mentally on trying to win, and when under pressure, I always went back to that.
You weren't shy on changing, innovating. You started opening, bowling left arm spin. I always knew you were a good bowler when you got me out.
I was a very bad bowler.
For the rest of the world to catch on. But you were not afraid to try things.
Yeah, no, I think that's the advantage you have as a leader as well. I think you're going to be judged no matter what, whether you like it or not. Some people are going to like you, some people are not going to like you, some people are going to like the captain you are, some people are not. For me, a lot of the time in sport, you're judged on results. So if you win, everybody says you're a good captain or a good leader. If you lose, they say you're a bad leader, you've got to be sacked and somebody else takes your spot. But I'm okay with that. I'm okay with the accountability as long as I have the opportunity. If I'm the captain, let me be the captain. And I think sometimes in sport, we ask things of people, but we don't give them the chance to do it. That, to me, I find difficult. That is a hard situation to be in. It's like, you can be CEO of the company, but you can't make the decisions. Well, then why am I CEO? You can be captain of the team, but you can't pick the bowlers. Then why am I captain? So I was always very clear on, captaining Australia was offered to me. It's offered. You don't have to do it. I could have declined. I spoke to the CEO and the chairman of the board who offered me the job, and I asked what my role was. What do you want from me as captain? Why have you chosen me? What do you want me to do? What's the goal? They told me the goal. I said, I think I can achieve that for the team. If you let me do it, I'll take the job. And they allowed me to do it. And there was challenges as well, because I was a different captain to Ricky Ponting or Steve Waugh or Mark Taylor or Alan Warder. We're all very different. Different people, different leadership styles. And I had a different team to what the likes of Ricky had or Steve Waugh had. So thankfully they gave me that chance. And yeah, I think looking at my career, that 10, 15 years I played for Australia, I think I was very lucky to play with some wonderful players that helped me learn my game at the highest level. And they probably prepared me for being vice captain and then being captain of Australia. So again, I owe thanks to them as much as anybody else.
And just deviating a little bit from cricket, there are few guys from other sports.
Yeah.
This is not the most popular sport in Sri Lanka. Like if you go into school, water polo is not, swimming is not, it's not as sexy as cricket or rugby.
I reckon it's sexier. Cricket's long, 5 days, standing in the sun. Give me water polo any day of the week.
So, I mean, in places like that, or states where cricket is not the most popular sport, how do you still go about it? There's a lot of drive to try and send Sri Lankan team to the Asian water polo games.
Yeah, fantastic.
To try to push swimming, tennis, rugby, rowing to greater heights. You've been here at the LPL for a while as a brand ambassador, which has been great for the tournament and the sport. Domestic setup, domestic structure.
Very important. I think the steps along the way are very important for a young athlete. If you go through school or club, into the first class system back in Australia and then into international, there are steps you take along the way that make the road a lot easier. So I think the foundation is very important. I think the other thing, this is where I say, the athlete needs to take it upon themselves. If you care enough about your sport, then you'll promote your sport every single day you get out of bed. If you want water polo to be at the Asian Games, then it starts now. It starts in how you talk about it, it starts in how you represent it, it starts in how you perform, every single part of it. It's the same as you can be the best player in the worst team. To me, if I'm captain, I'm looking at the teams that are winning and I want to select those players because the team is bigger than the individual. So you might have one great water polo player. I don't want that player, I want the team. I'd rather that one great player be less and the team be better. So that's no different to how you start a business as well. It's hard work at the start to build the foundation in preparation for success. But if one person's letting you down, the business is going backwards. So everybody that's involved in water polo, from players, coaches, staff, parents, if you want this sport to grow, you all have to participate. You're all going to play your role.
I just had a small story to that school. I don't want to mention the name of the school. One of the boys came up to me and said that they have a problem. One of their best players wants to quit the sport because he's not being given the captaincy. And my response was, then he's probably not your best player.
Well,
that's exactly what
what is in a team sport, what is the best player? The best player isn't the person, in my opinion, it's not the person that performs at the number one all the time. That doesn't make you the best player. Why do I think Michael Jordan is the greatest athlete of all time? Because of the amount of times he won the NBA championship. His team won. Is LeBron better than Jordan? Individually, I don't care. Michael Jordan's won more titles than LeBron James. So to me, Michael Jordan is the greatest athlete I ever saw. You know, that's what team sport's about. It's about your team. Yes, individually, of course, you want to do well. But the feeling where you help your team win. I used to say, if I made 100 and we lost, I wasted 100. I should have got a duck. I want to get 100 when we win. I want to get 50 when we win. I want to get 10. Whatever's required to help the team win. I think if that is your focus, you will have individual success.
That's why you declared on 329?
No, I wish I didn't. I wish I was still betting now.
Sorry. Open the floor up to questions in a minute. Last one. Any advice now? At least when I was growing up, social media was not a big thing.
Yeah.
But growing into that, how is that? I mean, any advice you can give us managing that as a schoolboy or managing it?
You know what? I don't really like social media. I can tell you honestly. I'm on Instagram and all the things, but I don't love it. I like being as private as I can be. Unfortunately, it's here to stay. It's not going to go away. It's part of our life. And like I say, I have an 8-year-old daughter. She has her own phone now, and I'm sure in time, she's going to want to be on social media. I don't want to hide it from her or protect her from it. She has to experience it. And I think as an athlete, it's there 24/7. I think you can use it to your advantage at the right time, but I think you can also pull back when you need to. The other thing when I think of something like Instagram, you choose what you post and what you don't post. You also choose what you read in regards to comments and what you don't read. So if you're not performing well, don't read anything. If you're performing well and you want to feel good about yourself, read all the comments because they're going to be positive. Don't put yourself in a position to see negative things that firstly don't mean anything, because a lot of the people that are commenting, they don't know you, they've never met you. But you don't need to read everything that's on there. I think that's the mistake that we make a lot of the time. We feel because it's there we have to use it. No, you select when you use it. You select if you want to post a photo. You select if you want to take a video. You select what you want to do. So on the other side, also be selective when you use it. But it's here to stay. It's a big business for a lot of people. A lot of people make a lot of money from it. Their brand grows. So use the right way. I think there's a lot of positives as well. But yeah, it can be a nasty place if you allow yourself to sit and read negative comments about yourself. I don't think anybody, firstly, should be sending those comments. But secondly, if people want to send them, let them send them. We don't have to read them.
Nice to meet you, Michael. So I have a problem how to motivate your team after lose. You lose a match after a match. So how do you motivate your team for the next match?
Sometimes it's very difficult because everybody becomes flatter and frustrated. When you have external pressure as well, so the coach isn't happy, the media is not happy, it can be very difficult. But I think it's how you look at losing isn't failing, in my opinion. I think life is about winning and losing. You can't win all the time. You know, I think I played maybe 115 test matches for Australia, and out of 115 test matches, I batted 300 times. I only made 129 times. So that's a lot of failure. So sport, I think is a great indicator for what life is about as well. It's a little bit like this. There's highs, there's lows. There's highs, there's lows. Work harder, self-confidence, self-belief, keep doing the work, and success is around the corner. And I think as a leader, a lot of the times, that's all you can do to your team is tell them, let's get better, let's work harder. Where are our weaknesses, where are our strengths? Improve our strengths, and we've got to continue to improve our weaknesses as well. But sometimes it can be difficult. You know, everybody wants to win every time they walk out onto a sporting field, but that's not the way sport is. Sport is tough. Sometimes you're going to lose. But the feeling as well, once you've lost, then you turn it around and win. That's the most special feeling in the world.
You have like a plan or like a routine before game which will help you throughout the game or series or something like that?
Yeah, I did before every game. You know, my preparation probably started about 3 or 4 days before a game, whether it was a T20, a one-day game or a test match. And it was little things like trying to make sure, firstly, I'd hit enough cricket balls to feel like I was ready to walk out the bat. I always cared about the fitness side of things, so I had to get the balance with my fitness when I did my cardio, when I did my strength, to give myself enough time to recover. You know, I've probably become more disciplined with my diet, what I was eating, because I saw my food was like the petrol you put in the car. So if I put the good petrol in, I felt like the car could go fast. If I didn't put the good petrol in, you know, so I cared more about my diet leading up to a game than after the game as well. And then, like I said before, I used to listen to music all the time. So before I go to bed, I'll listen to music. That will help relax me. Go to sleep. Morning of the game, driving. If I was driving my car, I would have music on. And before I batted, I would always have headphones in my ears, because I felt like the right music for me gave me a balance. I didn't want to be too excited before I batted, and I didn't want to be too low, too tired. So I had to find that right balance. So, you know, I think it took a lot of time to work out what was best for me, what made me, when I was walking out to bat, feel like I was ready to make runs. It took a lot of time, took a lot of failure, some success, and then try and find that balance. But yes, I think a routine is very important. Even without me knowing, I think if I put all my equipment on now, I would do it exactly like I did it when I played 8 years ago. It wasn't superstition, it was just muscle memory. Like I would put my left pad on before my right, my left glove on before my right. When I walked out to bat, I had the same routine before I got to the crease, before I faced every ball. I used to check the same guard before the bowler, like all these things that, it wasn't superstition, because if I didn't do it exactly that way, it didn't bother me. But I had a really consistent routine before I batted in every single game I played.
From the college volleyball swimming teams,
Yeah.
so my question for you is, so as the captain of Australia, you may have had a lot of difficult decisions to make during your captaincy.
Yeah.
Would you be able to describe one particular difficult decision that you make and how you approached that? How you approached it?
Yeah, lots of decisions. Some tougher than others. I remember when I took over the captaincy from Ricky Ponting, who was captain before me. I don't know if you know Ricky Ponting, but he was one of Australia's greatest batsmen and a fantastic leader. So when Ricky stood down from the captaincy and I took over, Ricky had been batting at number 3 for Australia for 15 years, and probably the best, maybe not the best number 3, but he's in the conversation. Unbelievable player. I thought it was best for our team for Ricky to bat number 4. So can you imagine, he used to be my captain, the best player in the world. I had to go and have that conversation with Ricky and say, this is what I want. This is what I think is best for the team, and this is my decision. The fear, I'm thinking, oh my God, how is this going to go? Me and Ricky Ponting going to have a fight, or what's going to happen here? Ricky was very supportive. He said, if you think that's what's best for this team, you are the captain, then I'll support that. So again, I think, that was one decision that I do. I think it was the right time, the age Ricky was at. We had a young player who I thought had a bright future. I thought he was ready to bat at number 3. There's a lot of reasons behind it. But sometimes, as well as a leader, you can get it wrong, or you do get it wrong. But you're allowed to make then another change. You're allowed to say, yep, I think I made a mistake. I think I got it wrong. I'm going to make a change here. When you get it right, thank God. But I think leadership, that's the challenge. Nobody's perfect. I don't know any perfect captain or any perfect leader. It's about backing your stomach, back your gut instinct, go with it. If you get it wrong, own it, take accountability, and then you can go back, you can make a different change. But I think leadership is about making the tough decision, not being scared of it, and always putting the team first. Never personal. If it's best for the team, go for it.
Yeah, has there ever been any times in your career where you felt like giving up, or you felt like no matter how hard you try, like you never reach your full potential, and how did you handle those types of situations?
There's lots of times I didn't know. You know, a lot of people used to say that word potential. And people probably said that from a young age about me, but I didn't know what does that mean for me. Like playing, if I was playing for Australia, that my dream was to play for Australia. Then does that mean I've fulfilled all of my potential? I don't think so. But my dream was to play for Australia, so I achieved my dream. So yes, no, it doesn't stop there. That was where it just started. So this is the thing about a dream or a goal. It changes consistently. I want to play for Australia. Okay, done. Now what? That's no longer your dream because you're doing it. That's no longer your goal because you do it. It has to be something better than that. So then I said, which I never thought was possible, I want to be the best player in the world. Who was I kidding? No way could I be the best player in the world. And then in 2012, I became the best player in the world. And I was like, what? So now what's my next goal? Okay, when I become captain, I want to get Australia back to #1 in the world. So you're always setting new goals. I don't know where your potential lies, to what level, but I know if you don't set the bar high, you're never going to achieve it. So take whatever risks you need to take, set your goals so high, and you never know. You know, not achieving your dream or your goal to me isn't failure. If you do achieve it and stay there, it means you haven't set the bar high enough. But yes, there's lots of tough days. Lots of days you're tired, you don't want to get out of bed, you're sick, you're injured, body's sore. As you get older as well, your priorities change, you care about a family, you have children. Life changes a lot, but like I say, I think the reason I played cricket up until 34 years of age is because I loved it. When I stopped loving it, then I retired.
Hi Michael, I'm from the 2003 match. We have a big fan, except when we were playing versus us. Just want to take you back about 9 years to 2015, the World Cup.
Yeah.
You guys had lost to New Zealand in round 1, not only, but you guys had lost to them, and then when it came to the knockouts, especially the semi-finals versus India, and then finals, you're again going towards the team that you had lost to in the first round. As a leader, India is always a different kettle of fish, and at the same time, so is New Zealand at that time. As a leader, how did you get them mentally prepared? It's a knockout, anything could go wrong, it's just one match. How do you handle the team to face India and also especially to face New Zealand, to whom you had lost in round 1? How do you keep the noise down and how you manage your team as a leader?
Yeah, I think that was a little bit like what I was speaking about before. The fear of losing never entered my mind. We were playing 2015 World Cup in Australia in front of our home fans, and we were the #1 one-day team in the world. So there was a lot of expectation. I think the Australian public expected us to win that World Cup. We lost that game to New Zealand early on in the tournament, which might have been a blessing in disguise. Again, you talk about winning and losing. Sometimes you need to lose to understand and realise that you're not playing at your best. You're not training at your best. You're not as committed as you need to be. You're not making enough sacrifices. I feel like that loss to New Zealand early on in the tournament was that for us. Then after that, we said, rightio, if we are going to win this World Cup at home, we have to play at our best. And thankfully, from that loss, every game after that, we got better each game. Semi-final against India, we were on fire. All the boys were excited and ready. Yes, we were nervous. It was a World Cup semi-final, but we didn't fear losing. And then the final back against New Zealand, again, you could just feel that, I think Australian cricket does that very well. In major tournaments and World Cups, I think we fear losing less than every other team. I think that is one of our greatest strengths. Nobody wants to lose, you don't need to, But I think we have this thing inside us that, you know, puts losing second. We put winning first, and we will try everything we can to try and win. And if that doesn't work and we lose, we're okay with that. Sometimes that's easier said than done when you're under the most amount of pressure as well.
Hi, so I just wanted to ask, how did I handle the pressure and distractions during the match?
How do I handle the pressure?
And the distractions from like crowds during the match?
You know what? When you're playing your best, you don't seem to hear the crowd. It's really weird. Like even, you know, that final in 2015 at the MCG in Australia, in Melbourne, there was 100,000 people. But when you're batting, you just block it out. You're so focused on what you're doing. So for me as a batsman, I'm so focused on the bowler running in and watching the ball that I can't hear. Everything else is a distraction and I can't hear it. When you're not playing your best, you hear everything. So I think, again, part of my routine was having little things that made me really zone in and stay focused. And I think in sport as well, sometimes you want other things to, like cricket it's a long day. So sometimes you want to hear the crowd or you want to hear what people are saying. So you've got to be able to, I think, pick and choose. A little bit like social media. When do you want to look at it? When do you not want to look at it? I think using the crowd to your advantage can be a little bit like that as well. But yeah, when you're really focused, nothing else gets in the way.
Hi, my name is Vandal. So I was last year's volleyball captain.
Congratulations.
Congrats. Yeah. So my question is, after retiring from cricket, there would obviously be pressure from not just outside parties, but from parties inside cricket as well. And when you want to take a break from things that you did, just to spend time with your family and do what you're doing, let's say maybe professionally, and you still got pressure piling up and people asking you to do this and that. How did you deal with that?
I'm still trying to deal with it. I'm saying yes to come to your school. You know what? Again, I think we all have the opportunity to make choices with our life. So for me, I'm still back in Australia. My full-time job is I do radio, morning radio. So 5:30 in the morning till 9 o'clock, Monday to Friday. That is my full-time job. And I love that. I really enjoy it. We talk about all sport, not just cricket, all sport. I'll make sure we talk about water polo when I get home as well. But I also like staying involved in cricket because of, like what I said on that video, because I feel like I owe thanks to the game of cricket that gave me so much. I was lucky to play in such an amazing team. I was so fortunate to play for such a long period of time and play for Australia and captain Australia. So now all the information that I have is wasted in my brain. So that's why I come to days like today and try and give you my learnings and my experiences. But I think, yes, there's pressure to do so much, but you have to, everybody's got priorities. My priorities when I was playing cricket for Australia was that. Nothing else was first. Cricket was first. That is not my priority anymore. I have a daughter, I have a partner, I have my home in Australia, I have my family, my niece, my nephew, I have my radio show, I have cricket, like commentary, coming here, being a part of the Sri Lankan Premier League. It's a balance that is hard to try and get perfect, but I think as long as you know what your priorities are, that allows you to make what is the best decision for you and your family. And I've always said family is first. It always has to come first. And my family, I was very fortunate, they allowed me to travel the world and chase my dream and paid for me to do things like go to the school I wanted to go to and buy me a new cricket bat and things like that. So, yeah, there's always pressure and you wish you could do more. I wish there was more hours in the day to give back. I've loved coming back here to Sri Lanka. It's such a beautiful country, amazing people. So I'm hoping to spend more time here. But it'll be a balance. It'll be making sure I can fit everything in to make sure I'm happy as well. I want to enjoy my life, enjoy my time. So I say, coming to days like today, I'm not getting paid. I get paid nothing to be here. I do this because I want to be here. It's a great opportunity for me to, pass on some of the things that I was lucky to experience. And I hope one day for you guys, 1 of you, 2 of you, 10 of you are standing here talking at a school like this.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hello, sir. I'm the current board captain. Last question. So, you've had tremendous success as captain of Australia, and thing is, even now the team is still winning, even after your time. So, as a captain, when you left, what did you do to ensure that the future teams would keep on winning, just as you did 2 years ago?
I don't think I did that much, to be honest. I think what I was lucky enough to do was I followed in the footsteps of the people that come before me. So the past players set a foundation and a structure, and they set up rules of what it takes to play cricket for Australia. I just think I honoured those rules. And now, the next generation, I hope they honour the rules. And the next generation, and if my daughter ever plays cricket for Australia, hopefully she honours those rules. I think playing sport in any team, there are rules. You have to abide by those. You have to support your teammates. You have to look after each other. And I think as you go up in level, there becomes more rules. But if you follow them, and you're lucky enough to play in a successful team, then it's the greatest journey ever. So I don't think I did too much. I think there's a lot of talent in this current team. I think they've got good leadership, and I think they're just doing exactly what Australian teams have done for a long period of time.
All right. Thank you very much. Thank you, Michael. Thank you, Mr. Samantha Dodambala and Mr. Anil Mohan, for bringing Michael down as brand ambassador for the LPL, and I hope the LPL has been great so far.
It's been amazing, honestly, and to the guys that have brought me here, that's who we should be thanking. You know, me coming here is easy, but Anil and the guys from the Lanka Premier League, they give me this opportunity, and like I say, I mean it. I've been fortunate. This year, I commentated the PSL in Pakistan, the IPL in India, and now I'm here in the LPL. The cricket standard here is just as good as those other two tournaments, I'm telling you now. And everyone talks about the IPL, cricket is just as good here. So I think, you know, Lankan cricket is in safe hands, there's a lot of talent, it's super exciting, a lot of good young players as well. And I think this tournament, the LPL, has a huge future.
How old are you? 7? No way! Oh! What sport do you like? I love water polo. I'm not very good. Can you teach me? Awesome. I want to wear a cap. Do I get goggles? I can't see under the water without my goggles. So how do I see under the water? Open my eyes? Close my eyes. And you can teach me how to play water polo. Let's have a photo. You're cute. So nice to meet you. Good luck with your water polo and your big boy.
Up next, we have a surprising draw where we give out 8 LPL tickets for selected winners. Thanks to Mr. Ismail from the Sri Lanka Cricket. And Samantha Dodambala, can you please come?
Number. Lucky number.
143.
143. Who has ticket number 143? Going once. Going twice. 143. You are sitting on 143. Going.
Come get a ticket. Do a redraw. Come. You can pick one. You pick a ticket.
Okay, now the second.
Number 10.
Number 10. Must be somewhere in front. So that's ticket number 1 for the afternoon. Ticket number 2. What's the number now?
I'll get one.
Yeah. We can quickly go through this.
23. 65.
65. Oh, yes.
Congratulations, mate.
And now for the third one for the afternoon.
Maybe another one. 145.
And we have Sanil Mohan also. Sanil, please.
113.
113, 130. Can we have Mr. Anil to draw the next one? Fourth one for the evening. No, 10. 7 more to go.
Let's do this in fast forward.
Yes, let's go faster. What's the number? 126. 126. Let's quickly go and come and take the stickers. 126. 120. 18. 115. Let's go this quickly before the picture. Yes, 115. Few more. Another one. Mr. Clarke, you can pull another one.
Okay. What do we got? Number 23.
Oh, yeah. You will sign dirty of it.
Good number.
Another 3 more. Yes.
3
Done.
more.
Almost done.
32.
32. 2 more.
20.
20. And the last lucky winner. Yes, that's a good one.
Number 48.
Yes, 48. Thank you very much, Mr. Clarke, for your entire program. Now we'll have a picture for Mr. Clarke, a group selfie. Can we have everyone coming in?
3, 2, 1, let's go.
Yay, smile. Got it?
Guys at the back first. And from that space, Mr. Netunana and Dr.
ලංකාවේ ප්‍රමුඛතම ක්‍රීඩා YouTube නාලිකාවේ ඔබේ දැන්වීමත් ප්‍රචාරය කරගන්න දැන්ම කතා කරන්න 0.7 26 773 77